They call it the city that never sleeps. The city of dreams. The Big Apple. The crossroads of the world. It's said that if you can make it there, you could make it anywhere. So they come, from across the globe with bags full of hopes and dreams, and the city welcomes them. But dreams are rarely what they are believed to be, for while the city may never sleep, still, night falls. And it is in the night that the children of Cain wake and play out the masquerade in my city. Beware, children, lest ye fall.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome to another episode of Vampire NightFall. I am Simon at Wandering DM. Today we're missing a few players. They'll be back over the course of the stream. So we might have to pause a little to switch cameras around or integrate them seamlessly if it works well. But knowing how Streamlabs is, it might not. So, I'm playing Sid Zimmerman. You saw during the intro the gangrel detective and I should say one half of the vampire daddies. Because that's what it is now. And I have with me a wonderful person in the cast. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm assuming you mean me. So I'm Scott. I'll be playing Alexander Erickson, the other half of the reluctantly acceptant to the title of Vampire Daddies. So yeah, you can catch me on Twitch and Twitter at Berserkers _rage. So you can find me in either of those places and here with these wonderful, wonderful folks.
Cool. And before I give the mic to our storyteller, I just want to let you know that this stream, like all of our streams, is sponsored by Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press, the makers of such good adventures, or campaign settings, I should say, as Dark Matter, if you want to play D&D in space, or if you want to see what it looks like, you can tune in to this channel on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we actually play a Dark Matter campaign. Otherwise, you can go to their store at store.mageandpress.com, look at what they have to offer, and use code WanderingDM if you want to get 15% off your purchases. without further ado, let's move on to our storyteller for this game. Deirdre, hi.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good morning. Welcome to New York. In the summer. In the heat. On the Lower West Side. As our interesting, reluctant vampire family has grown by one, apparently. As Sid and Alex have taken responsibility for the newly turned caitiff, one Professor Dominic Stevens. When they discovered with the interesting woman that Sid made an agreement with to look into his mind, that Dr. Stevens wasn't turned in a normal fashion. Indeed, one could have almost said it was artificial. And he had at least 3 different vitae flowing through his system for the moment. But now you had let Auden escort the professor to one of your 3 spare bedrooms, by the way. That's not counting the 2 on Alexander's floor, which I don't think he gives up. One of them, I believe, he turned into an office, and the other is just his spare room?
Pretty much. Just a spare room.
What does he keep in there? His shoes?
Suits, shoes, all the things.
It's his closet.
Right.
It's his closet. So Auden had taken your newest member of your family downstairs to one of the spare bedrooms on the garden level. Herschel had retreated back to his cave to
I think it's a dwelling. I think dwelling would be suitable.
It's the basement. It's the basement. He recruited back to below ground in the basement to, I believe you were asking him to, he wanted to see about getting into the security system at the hotel, being currently housing one Sofia de Verenos and Veronique Montbéliard.
But if I remember right, that didn't work.
It didn't work so well, no. He managed to trip some sort of internal security system and let them know that he was there, and but he was fast enough not to get strangled by a shadow in the basement. Whatever he's doing in the basement, it's Herschel. He's doing something in the basement. He's going to be creepy in the basement. It's fine.
Yep.
By now, it's a little bit later in the evening. It's probably close to midnight. Sun is setting faster, so you guys were up by about 8 this evening. Between your meeting with your contact, Sid, Sabrina, and the meeting with the unnamed woman vampire. Yeah, it's about midnight. What would you like to do? As it's just the 2 of you alone for the first time in a while.
We're not going on a date.
No, if anything, we need to figure out where this guy came from. Like, what happened to him?
That, and have Herschel do his magic thing with the computer to find out that dog of the search thing.
Yes. Yeah, we gotta find out who these kidnappers are and why they're making new vampires.
You think we could bait them out in the open?
Possibly. What do we have for bait?
You.
Me? Why would they want me? I'm already turned.
And chances are that, one person in the whole city of New York, there's no one special enough to attract that kind of attention.
I mean, unless they're looking for... Well, I mean, they'd have to know that the professor's gone by now. I don't know if they were done with him or if they would still be looking for him.
Hi. Okay, two seconds, because there's, it's gonna be cat hair in my drink. If they know that the professor is gone, they'll probably start looking for him.
Well, I don't know which one they would consider a higher priority. Sophia or the professor? I mean, we took the only two people they had left down there.
You know what? I don't know if Sophia was just random happenstance or she was kidnapped with a purpose.
I mean, she is rather high profile.
Indeed.
Perhaps I should have attended my meeting with the Sombra.
Well, the night is young.
I do suppose that is correct. I wonder how angry they might be. I mean, not that I'm concerned, just curious.
But isn't Kodo some high-ranking vampire in the city?
Not within the Camarilla, no. I mean, I'm assuming as long as they behave, the prince is tolerating their presence. I guess I should see if they're open to rescheduling our dinner. And I'll reply back to the text, the last text that I was sent, with a message saying, there's an opening in my schedule. Are we still open for dinner? ?
There's a pause. Almost a minute to go by. There's a response. I'm having guests. You are welcome to join. Please bring your dog.
That's just rude.
So what did they say?
They'll be expecting us later. Interested in dinner?
Sure.
There's a brief pause. There's another text that comes through on your phone, Alex. Black tie.
How do you feel about dressing for the occasion?
I'd have to rent a suit, I guess.
Don't be coy. And I'll text Elizabeth. You have Sid's measurements. I need a very nice suit.
An immediate response of course, sir. Give me 20 minutes.
I don't want to know how you took my measurement.
It's not as if you've never been fit for a suit.
So you have all of your servants record everything that happens?
Servants. Elizabeth is far from a servant, you know that.
Well, she's at your beck and call, isn't she?
She does what I ask. I mean, any ghoul would.
That's what I meant.
Well,
Nothing wrong with having servants. I have Dolly.
yes, but when you refer to them as servants, therein lies the problem.
Because ghoul is so much better.
No, it's not better. I don't like using that word either, but still, they're people just with slightly less free will with other individuals.
So servants.
Essentially, yes. And no, I don't have them track all information. I don't have Herschel's measurements.
One day he's gonna need a suit. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, we could eyeball that. I don't think anybody would want to get that close.
You give him so little credit.
Well, I mean, he brings it on himself. He really does.
We
Besides,
were all young at some point.
but some are more willing to learn than others.
Alex,
Yes.
as you say that, could you roll me willpower, please?
Oh no. Yes, I have to roll that one straight, don't we? So
Yep.
4, so... No, stupid thing. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this. There we go. So, no success.
Yep. As you say that, we're all, some of us are more willing to learn than others. You kind of gaze off over the shoulder of Sid, and Sid, you would see him kind of lose focus for a minute. He's not focusing on you. And all you can see, Alex, is this young woman, long red hair, smiling over her shoulder at you. And she turns and grins. And you are frozen, sir, just staring transfixed at this shape.
I snap my finger in front of him.
No response.
Hey, Erickson. Hey. We were having a discussion.
Yes, we were. Again, we're not bringing Herschel, so Don't need to worry about getting him a suit just yet.
You mind telling me what just happened? You froze. Looked distant. Is there...
Just got lost in a thought for a moment, that was all.
Wow. Try not to get lost too often. Looks weird.
Sid, you have a points in occult, right?
Yeah, I have a few points in occult.
Can you roll me perception in occult?
Sure. Three successes.
You feel a shiver go down the back of your spine as this blast of cold air, and you can actually feel it. It's strange. You're so used to being, well, as you are, that temperature perception is something that you haven't felt in almost a while now. But you feel this, it feels cold. It kind of drifts across the back of your neck and down your spine. And then standing about to the left kind of freezes out for you, and then it just kind of dissipates.
You, something's wrong.
What would be wrong?
I don't know, I felt a shiver. Did you leave the AC on?
We're dead. Why do we need air conditioning?
Then why did I feel some very, very cold breeze coming this way?
I don't know. Herschel could be playing with the air conditioner again. I don't know.
We don't feel changes in temperature.
Not usually, no. I'm sure it's nothing.
Are you wearing Rebecca's gift?
The Star of David?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You would feel it kind of burn. Heat. Not to burn you, but almost you feel it heat up.
Ow. Something's definitely wrong. I think there's someone in here.
Someone in the domain?
Unless you were trying to get into my head.
No. No.
And
But,
someone clearly is.
Are you sure it's not Herschel skulking around in the shadows again?
I am fairly sure it's not Herschel. The brownstone wouldn't be hunted by any chance, would it?
Think so. I'm not an expert on ghosts. I mean, I'd say they're not real, but then again, we exist, so could be. I'm not an expert in any of this, or the occult for that matter.
With the points that I have in occult, would I know that ghosts are actually a thing?
Oh, you would know that ghosts are actually a thing. And based on those 3 successes, you could make a logical deduction that there is some sort of other type of undead entity that is incorporeal in your presence.
There's definitely someone here. I don't have any way of looking at them. I'll just turn to where I felt the breeze. And I'll say, "Who are you? Show yourself."
You don't feel anything. You don't see anything or hear anything. But as you turn and look around the room, you get just the slightest glint of red hair out of the corner of your eye.
Yep, haunted.
I mean, it is New York. There are a lot of people here that have met some terrible fates. It could. I mean, I don't know. Are they throwing things around the room? Pictures moving by themselves? Anything weird like that? I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Sure.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
You haven't fed in 2 days. So your blood pool drops by 2. Where does that put you?
That puts me at 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'll text Elizabeth. What is your ETA?
5 minutes out, sir.
Detour. I need something to eat.
Of course, sir. Usual. On the way.
Thank you. You're too kind as always.
Mm-hmm.
I really should remember to take better care of myself.
You haven't fed again?
No, I've been preoccupied.
Jesus, it's the one good thing we have left on life.
Well, responsibilities and all.
What responsibilities? You've been blowing off your meetings.
Well, I mean, the non-important ones. It's the La Sombra.
And they might know something.
Well, that's true, but I think they're just upset that I'm not playing for their team.
Would you ever?
Not at all.
That was sarcasm.
I figured it was rhetorical, but yes. There's no chance in hell I would ever go to the Sabbat. They lack structure, vision. It's all just chaos to them. Besides, I've done decent enough now for the Camarilla. There's no sense in switching sides.
Yeah. Plus, I don't think the Sabbat has dental.
I mean, that's the quality that we have here.
Or disability, or...
That's right. They don't 401k match either.
No. There's no rollover. Oh, and then there's only committed partnered life insurance, not named life insurance beneficiary.
That's right.
There's a knock at the front door.
You expecting company?
You're expecting company.
Well, I know, but Elizabeth just walks in.
I don't know. I'll go answer. I first look through the magic eye.
There is a slightly bedraggled gentleman, average height, almost shaved, brown hair, very Irish looking in a cheap suit that just screams NYPD. He's kind of recognizable to you. You know Danny Reagan. He is the borough captain for Staten Island. Serves the sheriff. He kind of bangs on the door again.
Yeah. Don't get your panties in a bunch, Reagan.
Zimmerman, open the damn door!
I open the door.
He just kind of looks at you. He's like, "You gonna invite me in, or are we gonna do this on the stoop?"
Why, by all means, Captain, come in.
Yeah. We have a problem.
We have a lot of problem.
This is kind of a more you problem and a slightly me problem, but mostly you problem. Hey, Erickson. He kind of walks into your conference room. He's been here before, but...
Good evening, Mr. Reagan. What do we owe the pleasure?
So usually this whole conversation would be between the Manhattan Borough Captain and Sid. But due to certain familial ties, shall we say, I was nominated for this position. Zimmerman, what the fuck?
I shall
You get
return you
involved-
the question.
You get involved in a street fight in Lower Manhattan?
Oh, the scuffle.
That left the guy permanently... Two guys permanently maimed.
Play with fire, you get burnt.
Certain members of the family, of the clan, have decided that this means that you are persona non grata.
Wait, the entire Bruja clan has something against me? I should fucking frame that and put that on a wall.
When you fuck up the heir apparent, it means that he can't use his right arm no more.
He'll just have to jerk himself off with the left one.
Honestly, I don't ask the man what he does in his private life. I'm not a big fan of the guy. It's why I'm not involved in a lot of clan politics, but apparently I gotta come do this now official shit. You owe me for this. Erickson, make a note. He owes me for this shit.
Owe you for what? You telling me that, oh no, I disarmed the Magagai. A Magagai.
No. He wants right of challenge.
He wants another go?
Formal.
With one arm?
Apparently that won't be a long-term problem, but you left it on you left it attached. You just, fucked it up internally.
Don't underestimate the Bruja. Angry pricks they might be, but...
Honestly, I resemble that remark.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Wait, is Reagan a Bruja?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Well, I mean... What time?
Apparently he wants to do this all formal and shit in front of the queen at the next arena in Elysium. So... 3 nights? That good?
Hey, don't look at me. Ask him if 3 nights is enough for him to put all his affairs in order.
Yeah, well, honestly. Alright, now I have done my official business. You have accepted the challenge. I will inform him that you've accepted the challenge, correct?
Yeah. Challenge
Oh,
accepted and all that shit.
Okay, good. All right, then. Now, the over-under on you is 13-5. I'm thinking those are pretty good odds. I've got $1.25 on you with Jimmy Smalls. Don't fuck this shit.
$1.25, really? What are we, like, in the 20s?
I mean, he is on a policeman's salary.
That and
I shouldn't talk. Like, I'm pretty sure a PI salary is not that great.
I mean, you're basically living off of your...
Yeah, no, wait. I still have resources to myself.
Yeah, you do.
I still have 2 points of resources.
Yeah, you're not bad. Yeah. You know, I can up that to $1,000 if you think you actually will win.
I actually think I'm gonna win.
All right. 13 G's it is. Not going any higher. And I ain't sharing. This is mine.
Don't forego the pension.
Pension. Ha! You think I get a pension? I've been working for the city for 25 years. I've been dead for 50. What does that tell you?
That the city recycles its employees?
I don't get to draw a pension. I'm already dead.
This is true.
Alright, well, 3 nights is a long while. I guess I should, I don't know. Alex, do you think I should train for this? Might be a little rusty. When's the last time I fucked up a bruja? Oh yeah, 2 nights ago.
Hey, don't mention none of this shit. Don't mention who I got money on, and we'll all be good. Honestly, I've not been a fan of the guy. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah,
Aren't they all?
I mean, Vagar's been a dick for years. But, you know, Ateneo ain't that bad. Don't fuck him up again. By the way, he, you know.
I gave him a back scratch.
No, you gave a back scratch to Vagar. Vagar being the tall blonde guy who no longer has the function of his right arm.
Oh. Who's the other one I just clawed at?
Clawed across the face, that would be Ateneo.
Oh, okay. It's across the face, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's not that pissed at you, mostly. He hopes you... Ateneo says he hopes you survive the fight against Vagar. He doesn't think you will, but he hopes that you do, so that, you know, he can get another challenge in a friendly match.
Wait, are they lining up to try to beat me up or something?
Nah, Ateneo just wants to have, you know, a friendly, you know, rematch in the future. You know, just a normal. Vagar wants to kill you and hopes that he can do it in front of the queen so he looks better and gets around that whole shit where you beat the crap out of him in a public street, and he kind of then has to apologize to Miss Leibowitz for his uncouth behavior.
Alex, do you think I should kill him with my fingers or with my teeth?
Well, I mean, at least this time it'll be in a formal setting, so
Yeah, I can go all
you'll have the option this time.
Also, he's still kind of pissed. Apparently he cannot get the smell of the subway out of his clothes. I told him he just needs a better cleaners, but
He just needs to bathe.
I mean, you ain't wrong on that one. All right. Don't get dead. Show up in 3 days. Erickson, pleasure. Zimmerman, don't lose me my money.
Have a good evening, Captain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and by the way, the next time y'all had decide to have a rumble in the middle of a street, call one of us so we can clean up this shit afterwards. Honestly, it's a much bigger deal if, wiping video camera footage and talking to people than if I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yet that shouldn't be your business.
It shouldn't, but somehow it keeps ending up being mine. And he just kind of waves at you and walks out the door, slightly slamming it as he goes behind him.
I'd wager they gave him the case because Staten Island is just so boring and nothing happens over there.
It's possible. Or somebody just didn't want to deal with this bullshit and they decided to have a patsy do it. That's probably a little more the case.
Who's our captain again? Oh yeah, Din.
She's a Ventrue.
I'd do a better job than her.
Would you, though?
I'd actually not mind getting my hands dirty.
I mean, we don't mind getting our hands dirty. We just have others do it for us. That's all.
And you'd know, based on her reputation, that she got the position of borough captain by being extremely good with very fine knives. And that there may have been at least 2 people left disemboweled on the floor of a bar that were acting in an inappropriate manner.
It's not that we can't get our hands dirty, we just don't prefer to do it ourselves.
Oh, you're missing out on the satisfaction of a job well done.
It's about then that the door opens again and Elizabeth walks in and goes, "Sir, are you aware that the door is unlocked?"
Yes, we just had a visit from Captain Reagan.
Oh. I'm sorry to have missed the gentleman.
You didn't miss much.
And she kind of turns to you and hands you a cooler. A little Coleman cooler. And then turns and looks at Sid and hand gestures out. I brought 4 selections, sir. Various styles. Mr. Erickson didn't mention what the formality of the situation would be. There's 1 black tie, 1 white tie, a nice summer leisure suit, and a more business formal.
We'll be needing the black tie.
Of course, sir.
At least you'll play along. Herschel, it's like trying to bathe a cat.
Seriously, I've never had any trouble with animals.
I think that kind of goes with the territory. I guess we shouldn't keep them waiting. I'll let you try that on and see how it fits, and I'll go take care of my issues. And I'll walk into the other room with the cooler.
Okay. You walk into the other room with the cooler. Elizabeth is still standing there holding out the suit bags. She's adjusted them so the black tie is in front and just kind of looking at Sid.
Yeah, I'll take the black tie and I'll change. Like right in front of her. I don't care.
She just kind of looks at you, raises an eyebrow, tilts her head. and walks out of the room. So Alexander is dining. Alexander, can you roll me perception occult?
Sure. No successes.
You... It's odd. It's soothing. You realize that you really need to feed more than just every few days the way you have been. Your mind starts to feel calmer and clearer. It's a lot better than it has been in days. Remembering that it takes one from your blood pool just to wake up every night.
I really should do this more. So busy.
5-10 minutes. Well, Sid is got the suit on. I don't know if Alexander would say that he's dressed.
I'm assuming he's presentable.
I mean, it came very nicely pressed out of the bag. The tie. Can you tie a bow tie, sir?
I assumed I would. I mean, I was in the army.
You were in the army and you
I
did
can-
grow. Well, you are of an age where ties were a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He's got the tie tied. He's got the vest. It's a nice, very subtle embroidery in the vest. The lapels are very nice. He looks very put together. He hasn't shined his shoes. Are you wearing dress shoes or?
Did the suit come with dress shoes? Because otherwise, I only have like my. He still like. He doesn't wear running shoes. He wears like these, like halfway decent dress shoes normally.
Like Echoes.
Sure. I don't know what that is.
I'll show you in a second.
But yeah, if the suit came with like proper dress shoes, he would
Formal
wear them.
shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
There were probably Elizabeth is worked with Alexander for an extensive period of time. She's aware of his requests. She would not mess that up.
Okay.
I have faith.
You know, that kind of know exactly what. So, how are you getting to the Cameroon embassy?
Oh, I'd assume we'd have a car.
All right, so you're going to call for your car. Your usual driver will be brought around. You know. And it's a very nice, again, Cadillac crossover. Not too much chrome. Cleaned, pristine. Your normal driver nods a greeting to the two of you, opens the back door for both of you. Waits.
Yeah, I'll go
So-
in and sit.
And then what's the recovery on blood?
It depends on how much you eat and who you drain. For this, we'll say that you recovered 1.
Okay.
I'm operating on the anything that's bagged is going to give you 1.
Gotcha.
So
Before we leave, I'll let Elizabeth know that if she could have something more appropriate prepared for when I return?
Of course, sir.
Thank you.
You make your way across town, uptown. Oh, hell, I just had it. It's New York. There we go. What's the address? We got rid of it. That's upsetting.
For the Cameroon embassy?
Yeah. Okay. It's at 43rd and 2nd Avenue. Or it used to be. The ambassador's office is there anyway, so those work. So you're going back uptown to 43rd Street. That's a bit brighter. The night, the traffic is a little clearer because, it's after midnight. So you're right about here. Well, no, 2nd Avenue. Here. Where the United Nations are. Pulls up in front of a mostly nondescript building with flags for Cameroon. Fence, but more importantly, these very large planters that take up most of the walkway in front of the building. The size of a couch. Big old sleeper couch. Made of cement. For anyone wondering, those serve a purpose. They're there to discourage crazed people from driving directly into the building. But you need to make them look pretty, so we turn them into planters.
Makes sense.
Pretty much. The driver lets you off in front of the door. There are 2 figures standing in front of the door. You can roll me perception alertness as you get out of the car.
Sure thing. Since Alex is going to be right back.
Mm-hmm.
He's back. Oh, wait. I have acute sense hearing. Is your perception check based on hearing?
You can use it.
Okay.
It's a general perception.
2 successes.
2 successes.
Fumble.
-1 success. Sid's a little distracted. The tie's a little tighter than he'd like. While the suit is perfectly tailored because Elizabeth has, the gentleman's been dead for a bunch of years. It means his size don't change. And it fits him perfectly. He's not used to wearing the constraints of this type of jacket for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make himself a little bit more comfortable getting out of the car. Did you bring any weapons with you?
I have a knife, but I always carry a knife.
You always do. Sid's distracted. He can't figure out what the hell is going on. Alex, you look up and you realize that both of the guards currently standing in front of the door staring at the 2 of you are... Well, they're definitely vampires. And they're both very dark-skinned African, very intricate braids over their very professional security black suits with white ties and little headphones and, as we say, talking into their wrists kind of things. Bluetooths. You see the slight bulge of a weapon on one of them. They're not trying to hide it. The more interesting thing you notice is the gentleman on the left is has some very interesting scarification across his face in a very intentional manner. And you take a second and you look and you go, oh, well, he's Samichi.
Good
I
thing
hope you're
I didn't see it.
prepared for anything.
What?
Just try and keep your head on a swivel tonight. It looks like we've got flesh shapers here.
The two guards are very professional. They ask purely for identification. I'm assuming you hand over whatever identification you carry.
I mean,
My old drivers from the 50s.
essentially.
They acknowledge your name is on the list. They say 35th floor and gesture to one of the particular elevators right inside the door.
Thank you. We'll head in. Head up to the 35th.
As you approach the floor, you begin to hear some very interesting music. Samba, a little bit of jazz flair. And you recall that Mr. Koto said that he was having guests.
I wonder who's in attendance this evening.
Well, judging by the music, I figure he probably has a couple of La Samba guests.
More than likely. This could be... Oh. We could be the only two Camarilla here, so... Let's try and play nice.
I always play nice, you know that.
I'll tell that to the Bruja.
That was me playing nice.
That's why I don't ever want to be on your bad side.
I smile with my fangs out, as usual.
Out of curiosity, was there ever a time that Alex was on Sid's bad side?
I'd like to think I was too smart for that.
I don't think it happened, if only because we were blood bonded almost from the onset.
Yep.
Like,
okay.
Almost since the first time we met the old coterie. As the precaution. So I don't think it was possible to get on my real bad side. Like, we've probably fought before.
Yeah.
Disagreed on a lot of things.
I mean, 40 years, there had to be some level of disagreements.
Yeah, but it's mostly me rolling my eyes at whatever he says.
So the doors open on the 35th floor into a large open space overlooking 2nd Avenue. Large windows, almost like a big ballroom. You can see a number of vampires, and you get the impression that almost everyone here is vampiric. There's a band playing, although the band are not vampires. There's some, but you also notice that a lot of people of note in the city are here. And not just La Sombra, although you do kind of catch, some other people around. You see La Senora, the holder of Elysium, currently swanning her way through in one of her vintage 40s copa dresses, perfectly styled hair. Picture J-Lo in a 1930s dress. You see a couple of the harpies that you know from around here. You see a large number of people just enjoying themselves, as it were. And, but it's very obvious there aren't anybody members of the Primogen Council, although you see a few people that are kind of secondaries or secretaries to various Primogens who serve in that kind of capacity. You see a number of Tremere, you see a large number of Toreador. There's almost 30, 40 people here tonight.
Well, turns out I can be wrong. It's good that we're in mixed company.
Is it?
Well, just means the possibility of bullshit to go on to be slightly less likely.
2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Hi, cat. Like I said, large open area. It's almost everything you'd expect to see at a gala event in the city, any other gala event, except there really isn't a refreshment table. Not really a necessary item for this crowd. There are a number of waiters in formal tails wandering around with trays of various types of alcohol, some including blood, some not.
I'm not spending blood to be able to drink alcohol.
Mm.
One walks up to you with a tray of champagne and scotch and says, "Sir, may I interest you in?"
Not now, thank you. Perhaps later.
Of course, sir.
Sober.
Of course, sir. What would you like to do at this soiree?
Can anyone make eyes on Kodo? Is he around?
Just roll me a perception alertness. You can't use your sense of scent on this one, Sid, because I don't think you've scented him before.
3 successes.
Don't have scent.
Yeah.
And 1 is a 10.
Yeah, you can re-roll that 10.
Alright, so let's do that. 3 successes.
You kind of glance around, looking across the room. You note certain people that are here. You note Sophia de Veronis is here, kind of holding court in one of the side corners with a large number of young gentlemen, kind of, well, if this was 150 years ago, it would look like the lady of the day holding court with every young suitor that could possibly be. You see Veronique Montbéliard talking with a couple other Ventru of your acquaintance. And then you catch the eye of Mr. Koto, Yafet Koto, across the room, kind of standing and talking with a few other people in front of the large picture windows overlooking 2nd Avenue.
There's the man of the hour.
Then go do your things. I'll just, I don't know, mingle.
Try not to eviscerate anyone.
Well,
I mean, unwarrantedly.
I'll do my best.
Let them swing first.
Exactly.
And eviscerate me? No way.
And I'll make my way over towards Mr. Kodo.
He's standing talking to no one that you're familiar with, although at least one of them very obviously is a Samichi in what looks to be, again, a security uniform. I don't think you speak any of the African languages, do you?
Do not.
Yeah. Then you wouldn't recognize what he's speaking at the moment, no.
And I'll kind of wait for a pause and him and the security guard, and I'll interject and good evening, Mr. Koto.
Ah, Mr. Erickson. Crap, I can't do it. It is a pleasure.
Likewise.
I'm glad you could join our little gathering.
Enjoy the festivities. It's very nice to be of attendance tonight.
Isn't it nice? So many of us getting along so well.
I'm pleased to see so. There's always so many stories of bad blood.
In the past. But I was a little upset you could not join us for dinner the other night.
I do apologize. There were just a few more pressing matters.
Yes. Our dear Sophia. And he kind of glances and waves at Sophia across the room.
Yes. More than happy to return, Miss Veronis.
Yes. She had many positive things to say about you and your associate, kind of glancing at Sid across the room.
Mr. Simon and I do our best.
Well, it is a party. We shouldn't let business display us in enjoyment. Please, enjoy yourself. There will be some gambling later in the evening. I hope you're going to participate.
Certainly. Wouldn't mind that at all.
But of course, enjoy yourself. You'll excuse me. And then he
certainly
kind of walks towards the other far corner of the room, away from Sophia. And you'll notice that aside from the moment that he waved at her, he's intentionally never looked at her.
All right.
Sid, what are you doing at this shindig?
Looking out of place.
Extremely.
And, I think he's just standing about with his hands in his pocket and looking around and using his heightened senses to eavesdrop on conversations.
Remind me, English, Yiddish, Hebrew, those were given. Anything else?
Nope.
There are a couple of conversations in English, but there are a large number of them in a variety of foreign languages. No Yiddish, which isn't really a surprise given the people involved. There isn't any Hebrew either. Most of it's just polite small talk or minor business deals, the kinds of things that you would discuss at a very large open event like this with the highest of the high society. You have heightened senses.
Mm-hmm. Well, for hearing.
For hearing. You also have a small gift. An iron will. Roll me perception alertness, and you get +2 on it, but the difficulty is 7.
2 successes.
You kind of are glancing around and listening and trying to pay attention to multiple conversations at once. And it's odd. You don't notice anything, but you hear people sliding away from you. Like footsteps coming out of, walking away from you or turning away from you at the last possible moment. And then you hear the stride of a very intentional walk of a woman in high heels coming up behind you.
I turn.
And it's Veronique. And she looks you dead in the eye and say, Mr. Zimmerman, I believe you owe me a dance.
If you want to, but I'm not the best dancer.
A man is only there to make the woman look better anyways. That is your function, is it not, on the dance floor?
My function is normally to not be on the dance floor.
At these events, one must be. And she kind of waits, kind of raises her eyebrow and waits as you hear the music change to a samba. And if you glance out of the corner of your eye, you would see this other figure approaching Alexander.
Who is it?
Sophia.
As we start dancing, I'll ask Veronique, what is it you're planning here?
I merely need to know all of the players at first. And Sophia wanted to have fun. Ignatius couldn't join us yet.
I tend not to enjoy the spotlight.
And you would notice, as you're dancing, that you are the center of attention, but everybody's staring at her. And you'd feel at the tickle at the back of your head this press of her presence that she isn't angling towards you, but you still feel it there.
Yeah, she's majestifying the room.
I mean, may or may not be using all.
I mean, majesty might be slightly more on her par right at the moment.
Yeah, that might be true.
Yeah. You could definitely make that assumption that she is drawing every eye to her. Meanwhile, across the dance floor, Alexander, just as the music changes, you feel a slight tap on your shoulder.
And I'll turn around.
And Sophia's standing there, her tall, stately blonde, although she's a few inches shorter than you are, even in the heels. Very gorgeous dress, again, slightly period, almost like everyone at this event is slightly vintage style. Hollywood, golden age Hollywood glamour. She kind of raises an eyebrow at you and says, well, Signore Erickson, I do believe you owe me a dance.
Certainly, Miss De Verones. Would be my pleasure.
And again, you start to samba across the room. Alex, you would definitely know. And again, you kind of get this press and tingle at the back of your mind, but it doesn't seem to be affecting you the same way. You feel the push of majesty coming out of Veronique. Then everybody's looking at her and Sid. Sid, out of curiosity, just because I want to know. Can you roll me dexterity athletics? Difficulty 6.
Two successes.
You look respectable on this dance floor. You've done this before. You're not Fred Astaire or Gene Kelly, but you know.
I've danced in my time.
You've danced in your time. You know the steps. You're not looking horrible. You know the turns and twists that work. Alex, will you roll me dexterity athletics?
Oh, this is going to go poorly.
Or you could roll me dexterity etiquette.
That might be better.
I mean, you could roll me... Okay, rephrase that. You could roll me charisma, etiquette, or dexterity athletics.
Oh, I'm going to roll charisma etiquette. Yeah, definitely charisma etiquette. With no successes. Not a complete failure.
You are distracted by this press of presence and majesty in the room.
Right.
It doesn't look bad, but that's because Sophia is making it look good.
And that's fine. Everyone else's eye is away.
Everyone else is busy looking at Veronique and Sid. Very much cutting up the rug at the moment, as they say.
And I'm going to take the opportunity to lean into Sophia and ask, so what is your business with Mr. Kodo?
I have to make the rounds. I'm in the city, so, you know. One greets one's family when one's in the city, no? Even if they're distant cousins and you don't always agree with them politically.
I suppose. You two seem to have a history.
Oh, who are we talking about? Me and Lizette, as she points to Veronique.
I mean, the other evening you two seemed quite together.
Oh, Lizette and I have known each other for 205 years. In June.
And do tell, how did you and Miss Montbelliard come together?
Don't use that name right now.
My apologies. You and Lizette.
Yes, Lizette Boudreau and I... Well, Lizette was... No, that's not true. We were on a train and we'd met at this party the night before, and then we were on the train and I decided that this charming drink of dark chocolate was going to be my date for the evening, but he had been escorting Lizette, and then I come to find out that they're just friends and that it had all been over 20 years ago by that point. And we had a wonderful time on the train through the English countryside. And I got to meet Ignatius.
Ah, yes, Ignatius. Is he here this evening?
Oh, no, not yet. He couldn't leave DC yet. Hopefully he'll be here soon.
Wonderful. So, I didn't get a chance to ask, what is your business in the city?
I come to meet people and talk to them. Make arrangements. And then let Lizette deal with the rest of it.
And I didn't get a chance to ask, but what's the occasion tonight?
I believe we're celebrating. Good Lord, what are we celebrating? I'm sure it was on the invitation. I didn't even read it that much. I just knew that there was going to be a party and that I would be allowed to wear vintage dresses and that fun people would be here.
I don't seem to have gotten a formal invitation, but
Yeah. I'm so sorry, but I'm glad you could attend.
it's quite all right. It's good to see that things are able to be enjoyed together across the different sects.
But are they really that different? I've not really found. It's just politics and family squabbles over who inherited what piece of land from what uncle. It's all the same. In the end, we're all better than anything else.
Well, I won't disagree with you there.
Now, I do believe you owe me a proper dance. Without distractions. Focus on me. Me. All me.
Very well.
And as Alexander leads Sophia into a second round across the floor, I believe we will go for our break for the afternoon.
Cool.
We'll be back in about 5-ish minutes.
Yep. Talk to you later, everyone. And we're back, everyone. Hello. So where were we?
I believe Alexander was sambaing across the room with Sophia de Veronis. Sid, you were dancing with Veronique Montbéliard, who made a point of saying to call her Lisette. What would you two like to do as you're dancing across the room?
I'm going to ask her about that. Just why the secrecy, with your sister, I guess.
Nah, sister is the best word. I mean, you've only been blood bonded for 40 years. I've been for 200 and change, so, there's that. But my sister, she serves a certain function in your political environment. Sometimes she needs to have a different nom de plume.
So, how have things been now that you're free from captivity?
We've been plotting murder. Evisceration is the one I'm leaning towards. Lisette is always so much more simplistic. Staking someone out for the sun, but it's overdone. Really, it is.
That almost seems too kind.
Hmm.
And you're certain that it's other kindred that are behind your...
Well, someone with some ability definitely, shall we say, prevented me from contacting people that I should be able to contact at any point in any time. And at that, she just kind of smirks and tilts her head to glance over at Sid and Veronique. And at the exact same moment, Veronique turns and smiles and glances back at Sophia.
So you think blood sorcery is involved?
As I said, fuck the Tremere. But I've been saying that for 200 years, so... The only thing worse is a Giovanni.
Yeah, let's not bring in pleasantries into play.
I heard the rumor that one was sneaking around your house.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to see. I'll have to see what I can find out about that. Thank you.
You are very charming. I think you will do very well in the city in the long term.
It's certainly an aspiration.
Your friend? She kind of nods towards Sid.
Yes?
He will do well as well. You might want to train that little puppy that follow you around in slightly better behavior. Also talk to him about that smell, because that's just... I had to get rid of the chair that he was sitting in. It wouldn't go away.
Yes. That one. Well, I leave the training of that to Mr. Zimmerman. It would be wise for the child to take a few lessons in etiquette, but he's a very stubborn stubborn kindred.
If all else fails, Lizette might show up randomly at his house and teach him better manners.
I'd leave the door open for her, but I would assume I wouldn't have to.
No, you really wouldn't. She kind of laughs at that. Almost flirtatious, but in a manner that seems that flirtatious is her standard operating procedure, and she has no desire to flirt with you in any serious capacity.
I don't know whether to be insulted by that or not.
As you watch, you kind of get the impression that she does that with everybody.
Yeah, that's just kind of her standard.
And few people are as aware as you are to notice the fact that she really, flirting is her standard operating procedure, but she doesn't want anything to do with most of them. Actually, she doesn't want anything to do with any of them. Let's pan the camera back over to Sid and Veronique. What are the two of you doing across this dance floor?
So, you may have a fan in this city.
Oh, a fan. Anyone I might enjoy meeting?
Maybe, I guess. She's a friend of mine.
A friend, really? Is this a friend or a friend?
I don't drink from her, if that's what you imply.
You don't have to drink with her to have her be a friend.
Let's just say that we work in the same fields.
Oh, that's slightly less fun.
Anyway, she would like to have a picture of you.
Really? I don't know that I've ever had a fan ask for photos before. Well, that's not true. Well, no, that's not true. He didn't ask for photos from me. He asked for photos of my work. That's not the same thing. I'm almost intrigued. Just me.
Well,
Or did she also want to meet my sister as well?
let's not take any chances and have both of you in the same picture.
Oh, all right. We'll figure something out. How goes your minor investigation?
Well, not that great.
Well, you rescued the kidnappees.
Yeah, the thing is, there doesn't seem to be any link between the two kidnappees. One of them is a high-profile individual, the other was a complete nobody.
Well, if there's no connection between the persons, then maybe the connection is a location that both persons were.
I glance over at Sophia, and I'll ask Veronique. Do you know if Sophia would take the subway?
Not usually. She has been known to on occasion when she's in the company of others for whatever reasons. I only do so under the most dire of circumstances. Feels too much like using a back stairs. And I haven't needed to use a servant's back stairs since I was mortal.
Well, then I don't think the location has anything to do with it either.
Mm-hmm.
Who let the cat in?
I'm sure they just kind of appear. This is a La Sombre event. I mean, I'm usually okay with cats. Louis had 6. They got everywhere. Do you know how difficult it is to wear a full Baroque gown and keep cat hair out of it?
It's probably
Ghastly.
impossible.
Absolutely ghastly. But are you sure the subway is where the location?
Well, that's where the other was kidnapped. Or at least that's the last thing they remember where they were.
Memory is a funny thing. I can do a lot of things with someone's memory.
Yeah.
I usually don't trust it.
I think I'd have to speak with your sister again.
She'll kind of glance to the side as you spin, just kind of passing between and around Alex and Sophia, and she kind of smirks at Sophia, and she looks at you and says, well, since this party isn't very fun, why don't we have a more private conversation then?
I'm all for blowing this place.
And she glances. Sophia will meet us outside.
All right.
She waits till the song ends and then just kind of waltzes and proceeds to walk stride purposely towards the door, and everyone gets out of her way. Even if they aren't really, you see a couple people that look like they're about to walk up to her, and they just kind of shake their head and turn and look away.
Cool, I walk behind her and I grin at people.
That's what Dominate looks like when it's walking across a room.
Well, I mean, when you have majesty, that's to be expected.
Pretty much.
That's right. Point goals.
Alex, Sophia turns to you and says, your associate, Signore Zimmerman, he wishes to have a more private conversation with me and my sister, so we're going to get out of here. Are you coming?
Certainly. I've made my presence, so my pleasantries should be complete. Let's go.
Now, I know that Veronique is striding purposely out of the door and everyone's getting out of her way because she's boss bitch. Sid is taking advantage of that and walking in her shadow. How are you leaving this event, Alexander?
Considering I don't have quite the pull that Veronique does, not quite yet, I'm going to basically just follow Sophia.
Okay, so you're going to follow her?
Yeah.
Okay. As she kind of flounces out of the space, you see that people get out of the way for her, but not as aggressively as they do for Veronique.
Right.
Almost like a residual is bouncing off of her. And then it takes you moments to get down the stairs. As you get out of the elevator, you are greeted by a chair, by a stretch limo waiting for you. And a driver opening the door as Veronique kind of turns and looks at, turns back and looks at the three of you.
Well, is someone present to open the door for us, or?
Yeah, the driver has already opened the door.
Okay. Well, I'll take a seat then.
It's a classic stretch. So there's a L banquette, and the Veronique and Sophia kind of slide so that they're sitting on the the back seat, and kind of gesture you two to the side seats. 29 Charleston Street, please. Thank you very much. You'll notice that the Veronique gave the driver your address.
This is moving a little fast, don't you think?
Dear, you couldn't compete with anything. No. Sorry.
I just smile.
Well, Sophia's been happily committed for... How long have you and Ignatius been together now, darling? Ooh. 175 years? Well, that is when we had your first reception, so we'll take that as the date. That works. Almost 200 years? Close enough. And as for me, well, none of you can compete with my lord, so I'm sorry.
I wasn't trying to flirt.
You did it poorly.
So why don't we talk about the kidnapping? That's something I'm a little better at.
Sophia, this is your show. So what would you like to know?
Everything you remember in the moments leading up to us finding you inside that room.
I was on the Upper West Side. Why was I there? Oh! I had to go visit some little peon. It was part of this, my job as a diplomat, apparently. I had to go visit this peon, an accountant almost. Worked for one of the clans. I can't remember off the top of my head. The driver got off the West Side Highway at 79th Street, and then we started our way downtown, and then one of this house on the Central Park West. Had this meeting with this bean counter. Honestly, Veronique, he does not run a good ship. You would be upset by this whole thing. My sister ran her lord's domain for years. It was perfectly run. Everything ran like clockwork. This, well, excuse my language, schmuck could not figure out basic things that I was telling him. I remember being very upset by this and thinking that Veronique should come and teach this individual the appropriate way to run a household for an individual as important as a primogen. or a prince. And then I remember nothing except waking up in the dark and being pissed. And considering I could remember nothing, I went with the general thought that it was the Tremere and said, fuck the Tremere.
So wait, you met with that accountant and you don't recall leaving the place,
No, I do not.
but you recall pissing them off.
I don't actually recall doing that. I recall being angry, and I recall thinking that they should tell Veronique that they did a very poor job. But I don't actually think I said anything. At which point Veronique turns and looks at her and goes, "Darling, you usually don't have to say anything when you get that upset. Everybody just knows."
And you said this accountant works for one of the Primogen members?
Yes, I think so. There's someone of that level of importance.
Pardon me for a moment, and I'm going to text Jessica,
Okay.
asking if she knows any accountants on the Upper West Side around 79th. Because it's not her. I can guarantee that Venture wouldn't trust shit to a shit accountant.
This is true. You wouldn't trust shit to a shit accountant. You get a text back. No one that I'm aware of. There is a cadre and a open assembly point, and not what I don't want to use the term, but I'm going to. The way I'm working this is there are a number of places throughout the city that aren't quite Elysium, but because they're not the formal status of Elysium, but they kind of double as it, just given the sheer size and scope of the city. Right? You'd need more than one of which is at Lincoln Center, which makes sense given everyone's the trope and stereotype of vampires enjoying a large amount of supporting the arts. Lincoln Center being at 66th Street, and Broadway. So you know that there's a large number of vampires that live in the area of various ranks and utility, is what she responds. She can't think off the top of her head of anyone who's particularly an accountant that lives in the area.
But we don't know if that accountant was a vampire or not.
I mean, probably not. They would need to be available during the daytime. I would assume it's a ghoul.
I can make a few phone calls when we get home.
Well, we can probably. I know we can definitely rule out the Ventru. I'm not sure. I'm certain the Nas wouldn't hire folks of lacking quality. So,
well, we can easily rule out the Nos with one simple question. I turned to Sophia. Was that accountant fuck ugly?
Not to my recollection, and I would recognize a Nos.
Not
and
a Nos.
realistically speaking, your definition of fuck ugly needs to change now if you're going to be dealing with Samichi.
Well, it would have been just as useful to learn if it was at Simichi.
But no, neither.
It would have narrowed it down to only 2 clients.
Yes, no, it was neither. It was. I can tell it was after dark when I went because I was up.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that person was necessarily a vampire.
On near Central Park, that's all I can tell you. It was a very nice house near Central Park. On the west side of Central Park West.
Well, I know a few people in town that can scour the place for us. I have a bunch of contact points that I'm going to use when we get home.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you'd like to ask the two of them as you ride back to your domain?
And ever since they shoved you inside that room, you never had any visitors?
Hmm.
Did you hear any fake Latin?
No. And trust me, I would have recognized that. And she kind of glances at Veronique, and the two of them look at you and go, fake Latin? What do you mean? I mean,
Poorly translated Latin. As if someone were using an online service to translate their...
really? You mean they don't actually teach it in schools anymore? How do they learn anything?
Well, welcome to
Without-
America.
You just kind of see the two of them side-eye each other. I know your queen is very good, but really, some standards need to be addressed.
Well, I mean, those that study the Agoge, well, we speak Latin just fine.
Well, you definitely should. Latin, Greek, Italian, French.
Yiddish, Hebrew.
Those are not bad. I actually did learn Hebrew. I'm not up on my Yiddish, I do apologize. But reading the important texts in the primary language is vitally important. At least to certain people of standing. And really, I've had standing for 200 years. Why would I give it up now? $250. 230.
Well, I don't think I have any other questions.
You might want to also consider if they could prevent my sister from contacting those that she needs in a dire moment. What other abilities might they have?
Oh, I'm still not discarding the theory that it might be the Vatican.
Wait, the Vatican? You think the Vatican's behind this?
I don't think that whatever...
Or let me rephrase. You don't think the Vatican's officially behind this?
Official, no. But I
I mean-
wouldn't put it past them to try anything to get to us.
Well, the Inquisition are a problem. That's why I had to leave London. But they're a temporary problem. The bishop will change, who's ever in charge will change, and they'll go away again for another 150 years, as long as you don't make too big of a deal.
I mean, I would certainly hope that any agent of the Vatican would speak better Latin than that.
They might not know they're hired by the Vatican. Could be a lone cell of hunters.
Poorly
All-
funded. I mean, they were... Pardon, but you were locked up with nothing more than a simple lock and some chain.
They were still able to kidnap, well, Sophia here.
It's very true.
And to keep me in that place. I couldn't even leave through the shadows. It was most upsetting.
That's...
Out of curiosity, the other cell where we found the professor, was there any light in there? Okay, no
There were no
lights in
lights.
any of the cells. Okay.
Literally what they were old storage, airtight storage units to keep various electronical wires and lines while they were working on the subways. So there's basically a steel room with a iron steel door that's rubberized to prevent airflow.
Well then, let's go home.
I believe this is your stop.
I believe it is. All right, we got work to do, Alexander. Oh, wait. Alex, can you take a picture of them? With your phone?
Of the two of them,
It's for Rebecca. Just take a damn picture.
certainly. And I'll take out my phone and snap a picture of the two.
And Veronique and Sophia will play up to it. They'll kind of pose, laughing, and first you'd take a couple pictures. Be like, no, that's not good enough. You didn't get my good side. Kind of playing the worst socialite.
Quick question though. Does Sophia even have a reflection in the camera?
She does.
Okay.
Yeah, aren't La Sombras just like hurt by what's their weakness again? Hurt by sunlight? Well, hurt by moonlight? Or is that a flaw? I don't remember.
But by all accounts, Sophia is very weird for La Sombra.
Oh, probably. I just honestly, like, out of game, I don't remember what the La Sombra has.
Right now, nothing that you have done has affected her.
Not that we've tried.
No.
We're
But-
okay.
As the two of you exit the vehicle, Sophia's furiously texting on her phone, kind of like a slight smirk on her face. Veronique will look at the two of you and say,
As I'm exiting, can I see the phone number that she's texting?
no. But you can't see the phone number, but you can see the language that she's
Okay.
texting in. Just because the way she's holding the phone, you can't see the top of the screen where the phone number would be. And it's a contact, so it's not
Not
like
a
a
number.
bur-
It's
no,
it's
no.
like a named, yeah.
It's just I. And it definitely looks like the language you couldn't identify on the other phone.
Okay.
And as you two of you get out, Veronique will say, I look forward to our future dealings. It's always a pleasure to deal with professionals.
Likewise. Thank you, ladies, for the transport home.
Do keep that little thing out of my way, or I won't be very kind the next time I see him. Also, you might want to remember that he does live in your domain, Mr. Erickson. You are responsible for his behavior. And at that, she just closes the door, and the car starts to drive off.
You got told.
You brought him in.
Hey ho.
Swear
I
he's
raised
going to
them
get
as
you.
best I could. Or as best as I wanted. Figure wanted's more the term.
That's why Auden's the favored child.
Oh, because you play favorites now. Of
I
course you
always
play favorites.
play favorites. Exactly. You know, if he would just play along, do as he's told, it would be so much better for everyone.
Or, you know, you could try to just suggest things to him instead of order him around like a ghoul.
Well, I know he's not a ghoul. That might actually be a step above.
You see, I think that's where the problem comes from. You've got your whole hierarchy of the night wrong. He's one of us, whether you like it or not.
I understand that. I do. I don't like it, but I do.
All right. Let me make a few phone calls.
I'm assuming you're having this conversation as you're climbing the steps of the brownstone to go open the door. That classic parent conversation after a parent-teacher conference where, like, Johnny's really bright, but he'd do some stupid shit sometimes.
Yeah. It's he serves his purpose. He has his qualities that are redeeming, some that are quite not so redeeming, and then there's the inability to play well with others and follow the rules well without sassing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, if we had sent him to kindergarten instead of homeschooling him, that probably would have been different.
Pretty much, yeah.
He would have learned to play with others. And now I'm picturing just like a kindergarten for baby Nosferatus.
That's right.
Like, that teacher must have nerves. Sorry.
They're just all in their corner in the shadows going like...
No. As you open the door, you can hear from Auden's room her music. Usually the music she plays when she's creating.
Oh god, here we go again.
I have to ask that girl one day, what is it that she does in there?
How about you don't pry?
That's why I said I would ask, not that I would just go.
Anyway. I got work to do. I'll let you know what comes up after I'm done.
Alright.
Oh, and if you ever see a lock of ginger hair, let me know.
Certainly. I should probably inquire about that Giovanni that Sophia was mentioning.
The what?
She made mention that there was kindred Giovanni that was wandering around the house.
Hanging around outside.
Yeah. Just curious. I didn't think there would be any around. I mean, they're pretty ostracized.
I would like to know what they're doing sniffing around our house.
Certainly. It's a little worrisome.
I mean, we all have skeletons in our closet. I just would like not to have an actual skeleton in my closet come out and attack in the middle of the day.
Yeah. I'll have to see if anyone's aware that there's Giovanni in the city. I mean, I'm assuming they would make their presence known, but doubtful.
Yeah. Alright, well, you do that, I'll take care of my stuff here.
So, Alex, as you proceed upstairs to your office, which is, on the 4th floor next to your bedroom, what does it look like?
Very modern, very minimalistic, just, computer, a few pads of paper, just very simple and clean, very expensive.
A complete opposite of Sid's space, then.
Yes. Yes, order to his chaos.
A very balanced relationship. Sid, who are you trying to contact?
So I don't have like any
Yeah, I'm saying it's like
names
what
on
kind
my
of
sheet
contact?
or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But those are my contacts in both the NYPD
Mm-hmm.
and the ones I have just on the street. People that I've learned to sort of trust over the years.
Well, the first person you're going to contact in the NYPD who's known to you would probably be Mr. Tibbs.
Why do I feel like I should know that name?
Because he's in the drive.
Yeah, I know, but
He is, but more importantly, because if you watched In the Heat of the Night, they call me Mr. Tibbs.
Yeah, but Mr. Tibbs he's the werewolf.
Yeah, but he is also an officer of the NYPD who is well known throughout the city and does pretty much. Yeah, you could Carlisle Tibbs. He officer of the NYPD, leader of the Lupines in the city, known for being oddly calm for a Lupine. He served in both the for the NYPD and the U.S. Army. Younger African American gentleman, very large mutton chops, and a bowler hat as an affectation. A lot of people make comments about it, at which point he says, "Try and take my hat from me," and usually they fail in the attempt to take the hat from him.
So what's my relationship with him?
Generally positive. You've probably come across him a couple times in your work for searching out various people. He's one of the detectives in the major case squad in New York, so major missing persons cases would come across his desk. Okay. You have a slightly professionally cordial relationship, in a sense that you probably don't go to each other's houses for dinner, but if you come across the same kind of information, you would talk to each other.
Okay.
Hey, this is your problem, you deal with it. This is my problem, I'll deal with it, kind of thing.
Does he know I'm a vampire? Because, I mean, lupine, vampires...
You also have fangs that are permanently growing out your mouth.
Yeah, but he could probably think I'm some sort of,
werewolf. No, I'm sorry. You smell like dead.
Yeah. Okay.
And you have fangs.
So he
knows that you're a vampire.
So
he doesn't...
Yep.
It's, again, professionally cordial. You don't spend a lot of time around each other, but... Okay. There is a couple other gangrel in the city that you're on friendly terms with that hang out in the dock areas of the what was Hell's Kitchen and is now being beautified in Chelsea.
Okay.
They kind of act double as one that you know particularly is two female gangrel. One is a redhead, pale skin, stands about 5'5", 5'6". The other is African American, long, natural curls, hair. Stands also a little bit shorter at 5'4", but the two of them kind of are well known in the dock areas for finding and taking care of business in the area. Also for not taking any shit from the union and the longshoremen, which is kind of a recommendation in of themselves. Because longshoremen don't really play nice with others of whatever species.
All right, I'll start by calling Mr. Tibbs. Or actually, do you mind doing Alexander first?
Oh, no, go right ahead.
I would have to be right back.
Okay, go right ahead. Alexander, what are you going off? Where are you going? What do you want to do?
Going to the office. I'm going to reach out to Jessica again and see if there's been any word of. I don't know how close she is with the prince, but I'm assuming that the Primogens would be aware of any announcements of kindred in the city that would be of note. Like a Giovanni, somebody important like that showing up and being in the city.
You would know that Jessica is nominally a friend to the prince.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as much as any high-ranking Ventrue can be to any other politically high-ranking prince that's...
Hence my, I like to keep her supplied with information.
Yeah, pretty much. They have been known to socialize outside of political events and have on occasion just enjoyed each other's company, or so you have heard. You also know that the Toreador Primogen Patma also shows up to some of these events, and that the three of them kind of have a very cordial relationship, again because the prince is the queen particularly is also a Toreador, so a very positive relationship there. Very rarely does the Tremere Primogen Larissa Weissman show up in these non-political circles. Sometimes is a little angry about that event.
Yeah, well, fuck the Tremere.
Fuck the Tremere. Oddly enough, you would also know that most of the rest of the Primogen Council is there as a political individuals. The Nate Liang, the Gangrel Primogen, basically got the job because none of the other Gangrels wanted it.
So we vote you to be the Primogen because none of us want to deal with this shit.
Pretty much. And he does attend council meetings, and more out of a desire to not make the Gangrel look bad than actually any desire to be there.
Right.
But he keeps his own house in order, and you probably aren't aware of... Well, you might know some stuff from Sid about what's going on.
I was going to say, how active is Sid in those...
Not very. Because of reasons.
Meetings.
There are other things that are going on in those Gangrel meetings that Sid... Mm-hmm. The Malkavian Primogen Avram Leibitzer is oddly devoutly Jewish. And if he wasn't dead, would probably be his like an Orthodox Jew, but refuses to attend any Primogen meetings or council meetings that occur on Shabbos or any of the major religious holidays. He's very... Sometimes people look at him and go, "Really, you're dead." But he also demands that all refreshments at the Primogen Council meetings are kosher. So, there's that. But you were asking if they noticed anything about a Giovanni in town.
Yeah, just has there been any announcement? Any Giovanni that have shown up and made their presence known to the queen?
No one's made a formal presence known. They do know that there is a mortal company in the city, a corporation in the city that's tied to a mortal Giovanni family.
So you mean there's Giovanni that haven't been turned?
You have to keep the generations going.
Well, certainly. I mean, especially if you tend to, how do you say, promote from within?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That the mayor allowed to purchase a piece of property on Fifth Avenue, but there are no vampires in the city, no Giovanni vampires in the city. At least that the queen is aware of at the moment.
That have made themselves aware of. Okay, certainly. I'm going to text Sophia and just ask her when When was that Giovanni that was found around?
She'll come back and say, I don't know. I was locked in a room. I just heard rumors that apparently there's one who's been sniffing around your house.
And I'll text back to Jessica and just let her know that might be something we want to keep an eye on.
She is thankful for the knowledge, and she also asks, the woman that you informed me of earlier tonight, was she pleased when she left?
Pleasantries were exchanged. No hostilities seemed.
Good. We don't need her kind being angry in in the Queen's City.
Did she actually put my or start to put my in that?
Yeah, you saw that.
Okay.
You saw the my, and then you saw the delete, and it comes back.
Certainly. I'll let you know if we have any other future interactions with her.
Whatever she wants, give it to her, and make sure she doesn't invite any friends.
Certainly.
We don't need Ravnos in this city for long.
Certainly not. Nor would I prefer any Giovanni be found either, especially if they're snooping around my domain.
Giovanni you can kill. The Ravnos, you politely smile and nod. Particularly her.
All right. I will make a note to keep her as happy as possible if we deal with her any further.
Do you have anything else you wish to ask?
And I'll ask, or I'll let her know that we've got this strangely created kindred in the house, the professor.
Can you keep them contained? Or do I need to remove it?
He's not been a problem so far. But if I do need him to be extracted, I will let you know.
I'll have its team on standby. Bellevue is near enough to you. That will work.
Certainly. That's fine. I'll let you know if I find out anything else about him.
Mm-hmm.
Seems odd that someone out there is manufacturing our kind.
An upsetting and concerning ideal. The embrace is not something to be manufactured.
Well, certainly. I'm hoping to gather more information before I let anyone else know.
Oh, by the way, I've heard comments about a certain individual residing within your domain. I don't like hearing comments, Alexander.
I am aware. I'm not pleased with the Nosferatu, but
If I have to, I'll send Devore down.
I will definitely take that under consideration.
Do.
Have a pleasant evening.
Good night.
Damn, Nosferatu's gonna be the death of me.
Possibly. Sid, you're contacting Carlisle Tibbs.
Yep.
How do you contact him?
Well, I figure I must have a number to contact him by phone.
Do you guys have like a cell phone that you just call, or do you call like his official NYPD line?
I think I would. No, I think it must be a cell phone because it's something that you don't necessarily want. You don't want our conversations to be recorded or anything.
And everything going into the police station is recorded by Matter, of course.
So yeah, it's private cell phone.
Do you call or text?
I call.
Never mind, it's Sid.
What is this texting? What am I, a millennial?
I mean, it
I
would
don't-
take him just 30 minutes to say hello, so.
Oh yeah. Especially since, remember, I have a flip phone.
Mm-hmm.
So hello is like 777 3 3 5 5 5 5 5.
Yes, because even T9 would have been too far advanced for Sid.
Yep. So you call Mr. Tibbs, Carlisle Tibbs,
Yep.
and he answers on the second ring. Zimmerman, what do you need?
Tibbs, I need your help.
You're calling me. I'm assuming this is so. What?
You ever heard of an accountant working in Western Central Park or Central Park West?
A shit ton of accountants and CPAs in the Upper West Side.
It's New York.
Someone
You have
who
to be a
would-
little more specific.
Yeah. Someone who would have to do with my kind.
Does business with you all? There's a firm, 79th and 6th Avenue, I want to say.
Okay.
Deals with financial issues of the more supernaturally inclined. Dealing specifically with you lot, couldn't answer.
Thanks, is probably the person I'm looking for.
Good luck. Why?
Missing persons case.
Ah, all right. Let me know if I need to actually go to work.
Yeah, I know right now, I got things covered.
Hey, also, next time you're gonna make a mess on the street,
I cleaned up after myself. We shoved them all down the sewers.
yeah, I know. Just let me know in advance. I can count the cameras.
Okay. I do not look for fights. And I'm not about to warn half of New York City when I get into a brawl.
I'm just asking for me. Perfect. Who else was asking you for that?
Finnegan.
Finnegan. You mean that schmuck who out of
I mean Reagan.
Oh, Reagan. What's he doing out of Staten Island?
I don't know.
I heard he got promoted again. Anyways, next time a little heads up before the mess, huh?
Sure.
Whatever. Night. And he just kind of hangs up on you.
Hey, Alex. I think we got a lead. 79 and 6th.
I'm gonna do a quick search for firms on 79th and 6th.
You're gonna come up with...
Quite a few.
Well, no, it is a cross street, so you have little bit more. You have 3 law firms and 2 2 CPA firms that share a building.
Sounds about right. I guess we should.
Hey, Alex,
Yes.
can you roll me willpower?
Sure.
That fucking ghost.
And
3 successes.
3 successes.
Yay, me.
Did any one of us take the haunted flaw?
I don't know.
God damn it.
Maybe. Maybe not.
What the heck?
At least I had the decency to take flaws that don't mess with other people. Alexander.
What the hell? Why is this not working?
You're busting my balls and we've got the NOS with like every flaw in the book?
I would expect the NOS to have all the flaws in the book.
I had to give the dear storyteller something to play with.
Sure. What's going on? Whoa, 29.
Actually, I gave her quite a few.
You did. You gave me toys. Everyone gave me toys. It was fun. I like toys. Toys are fun. This time you see that flash of red hair. But it's more physical. You can see both. It's less opaque, less translucent, almost present. And Sid and Alexander, could you roll me a dex dodge?
Uh-oh.
Right? Wait a minute. Now they're actually starting to get involved here.
2 successes.
3 successes and a 10.
Yeah,
Yep,
same.
reroll for. But you.
Nah, just 2.
4. No, sorry.
3.
3. Yeah, still 3.
You both managed to dodge out of the way as all of a sudden the massive amounts of paper that are in Sid's office just start swirling around the room. And being flung in random directions.
This is gonna piss Dolly off.
I mean, can't you just reshuffle them together and set them on the floor like you have them?
Yeah, also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the brownstone's haunted.
Well, that certainly wasn't on the listing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about it.
How long have you lived in this house?
That's a damn good question.
I don't know, since we probably acquired it after 75.
Probably with whatever compensation you were given for your task.
That could make sense. When was the I was gonna say Summer of Blood. The Summer of Sam?
77.
77, so we probably live in, like, since late 77.
But this is the first you've noticed of it being haunted.
Outside of things, I would probably say that the ghost has always kind of been there.
Oh, the ghost has always been near you.
Yes.
But this is the first time it's made. It's the first time it's made obvious forays into
the physical world.
The physical world and your associates.
Yeah. Insert shrug emoji. It'll be fine. It's a ghost, but I mean, it's worse.
It's worse. It starts with paperwork and it's gonna end with knives or a steak.
Yeah,
I mean, you both know someone who could do an exorcism.
we do. We do. Just what's Rebecca going to charge us to do this? Or what are we going to owe her?
That's what you're... That's what you're nervous about? Like, what are we gonna owe her? We have an actual ghost that's starting to go all freaky on us. And if... Wait a second. Would I know if the Giovanni have any powers over ghosts? I have two dots of occult.
You have 2 dots of occult. You could make it an ideology that yes, that you are aware that there are clans that have powers over the dead. 2 that you can name off the top of your head, Giovanni and Tremere, can both affect the dead in various ways. But yes, you would be aware that Giovanni have some ability with ghosts.
Well, so if the brownstone's hunted, and the ghost has never done anything until now, and now's the time when a Giovanni's prowling about the house, I think 2 + 2. We're gonna have to install cameras outside.
One moment, and I'll text Elizabeth to have that scheduled.
What? We can just ask Urshel.
We can coordinate with Herschel. I don't need him outside of the house trying to mount cameras. It's fine. He'll be involved. It'll give him a project, something to do.
He's not gonna break the masquerade every time he steps foot outside the house. You know that.
Are you willing to put the rest of your own life on that? Yeah,
No.
that's yeah. You're not getting texts from the Primogens saying, they're hearing things because of his behavior.
No, I'm on the Primogen do not call list.
Unfortunately, that's a list that I cannot be on. Nor what I want to be on. You know this, Sid. Aspirations are different.
Yeah, I'm just here, being the loyal hound.
No, come on. I've never referred to you as such.
Everybody else does.
Well, that's their problem.
I feel like the next time, like, somebody calls me a dog, I'll just turn into one. Just to spite them.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
And then I'll lunge at their throat.
Again, I'm not getting in the way of that.
Good to know.
Sid, roll me perception occult. +1.
That goddamn ghost. +1?
Mm-hmm.
Oof. That was borderline.
I
got only 1 success.
You feel something try and grab and pull at that Star of David across your neck. But it kind of, you see it slowly start to smoke a little bit and drops it.
Okay, what the hell? We have to do something about this.
You're right. Let's reach out to Rebecca and see what she recommends.
Let's check our calendar, shall we? Tomorrow night, exorcism. 2 nights from now, I get to kill a Bruja. So our missing person case can either be after the exorcism or in 2 nights. We're getting busy.
At least some business is good business, right?
All business is good business.
We may regret that.
Oh, also, who knows what the hell the 2 other young ones are gonna bring about in the next couple of nights, and also the professor might explode anytime soon.
Reminds me, I'll have to get with Herschel and make sure that the camera I think he put in his room is working. We'll need to keep an eye on him. I don't quite know what to expect. And with as much as the other 2 can bring, I really don't need a third in the mix.
I don't think the professor would bring any kind of trouble.
Not intentionally, but again, we also don't know really what he's capable of yet.
True. All right.
And on that question, we're going to leave New York for the day.
We got so many things lined up.
All the things.
Yeah.
So many things are happening. We doing okay?
Yep.
Certainly.
Oh, and we survived. You survived some of the consequences of your own actions.
So far, so good.
Yeah, so far.
So, well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for those of you that hung out in chat. Thank you to those of you watching on YouTube, on the VOD. This is always greatly appreciated. This stream, again, I'll remind you, was sponsored by Mage Hand Press. If you want to go on their store at store.magehandpress.com, you can look through all the marvelous books that they have for sale, and if you use code WanderingDM, you get 15% off anything that you buy. I am WanderingDM. Thank you so much again to everyone. Let's go around the table. Tell us where we can find you on the internet, what you have going on in your lives. I'll do the whole spiel about the schedule that we have afterwards. So we'll start with Scott.
Hey, again, great being here. Thank you guys for having me. This is such a fun time. You can find me on the internet at berserker_rage on Twitch and Twitter. And then you can find me here again on Saturdays doing all the wonderful vampire stuff.
And Deirdre.
Hey all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Lemon on Twitter or Praxagorthesmiaphoria as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. And I love this. I can't wait. So many things were given to me and now I just get to play with them all. But sad news, we won't be here next week because your storyteller has to be, has events that they have to attend, unfortunately. But we'll be back the week after to find out A, what's going on with this haunting, B, maybe figure out what's going on with this Bruja, all these things that are in the air, so many things. But you can find me Monday over on Role Players for some Age of Arcana and all the new fun things that are happening there, which I love.
Cool.
And then be back here. I'm almost always here.
Yep, we stream here on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Dark Matter, which is a book by Mage Hand Press. On Fridays, Castle Falkenstein, though we're not going to be playing next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And Saturday in 2 weeks again for another Vampire Nightfall. So we'll see everyone then. On that note, have a good day, everyone. See you next week. 2 weeks.